because Nafis is in here and the old borough manager is gone. Okay, it is seven.
It's going to be me and you. I got the Roberts rules.
Okay, good. At this time, we will begin our meeting. Would everyone please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Marcini, would you do the roll call,
Yes, if I may
please?
do the roll call, please. Mayor Hepkins?
Present.
Thank you. President Johnson?
Present.
Vice President Roadcloud? Thank you. Councilor Harris? Oh, excuse me, Council Harris? Excuse me, not here. Okay. Councilor Jones Waters? Councilor Nicole Beatty? Here. Thank you. Councilor Monroe? Councilor Brooks? Solicitor is present. Mr. Nichols is absent. Yolanda Hughes, tax collector, is present. And the engineer is here.
Thank you. Mayor, I'm going to let you go first, and I'll move mine to yours.
Oh,
Your report.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Something seems wrong with this. It seems like
Okay,
excuse me, Mayor.
Yeah.
1 second. At this time, Ms. Clara Johnson, would you please come up to the podium? Please forgive me for wearing sunglasses. Oh, here. I'm sorry, Clara.
I had surgery and my eyes are still light sensitive. I want to speak mainly about some things that have already occurred, such as Community Day. I understand that can you hear me now? I understand that there were some donations that was given for that event because in our general funds there was not enough money to cover that event. I also understand that $5,000 is what was spent on that event and only $500 and maybe $50 came in from donations from that event. So my question to council is, who is going to reap the difference between $550 and $5,000? As a community member and a taxpayer, I don't think it should come out of taxpayers' money, taxes, simply because it has already been stated that there was no funds in the budget for that event. All councilors voted on the floor to give YEAA $10,000. And I don't understand where that other funds is going to come from. Maybe someone can help us out with that answer.
Thank you. I'll try. As you said, I stated in several meetings that there was no money for the Community Appreciation Day event. I spoke with Mr. Nichols about this personally twice.
he stated to me that Counselor Jones Waters had brought checks to him and that he had placed the money in the general fund. I thought all the money was there. Evidently, it was not. So I'm still waiting to hear exactly how much money did actually come in. He's going to have to eat that. I'm sorry. Counselor Jones Waters will have to eat that. There was no money in the budget. There are no funds available for that event. And between the two of them, that is simply what has to happen.
Johnson, may I be recognized?
Yes, of course.
So,
Wait a
I'm fine. Can everyone hear me? Well, pursuant to my research, as of September 29th, that was literally just days ago, $550 was donated as of September 29th. The event took place on September 17th. So I'm not sure if any other donations came in since September 29th. In addition, I am concerned about where these donations came from. These donations came from vendors that we have business with, current agreements and contracts with. I feel that that is a clear conflict of interest, because if I'm working for the borough in any capacity and an elected official asks me to donate monies, and I'm going to feel almost obligated to do same if I want to maintain the relationship with the borough. So both of the donors are actually current vendors that we conduct significant business with. That is a problem. That is a problem. It's almost similar to, and I don't want to, listen, am I buying your boat? You understand what I'm saying? So that's not right. As far as Mr. Nichols eating anything, I am not in agreement with that. Not at all. Because Mr. Nichols cannot do anything without the consent of the counselors. And from what I understand, he was being berated on a consistent basis behind this community event. He was being bullied to pay expenses. So now if he says, no, I don't feel it's right, we shouldn't do it, we need to wait, so forth and so on, is he going to be is his job jeopardized with the borough? So we cannot say that Mr. Nichols did anything wrong other than listen to the person that has authority over him. So no, we can't say he's going to eat anything. He's not going to eat anything.
No, we can say that.
Who
And
is
I say that.
responsible, who is actually responsible, the end person, is Talia Jones Waters.
And that I agree
That's
with.
who's responsible.
I agree with that. My problem with this whole situation is Mr. Nichols is working in the capacity of interim borough manager. You don't call me and tell me that the funds are coming to you and you're going to put them in the general fund and have me thinking that all the money is there. If he had said to me, she did not bring in all those checks, that check would not have been signed. So it put me in a bad position thinking the money was there.
You should be conducting business.
He had me, excuse me. When he's telling me all the funds are there, that's what I have to go on. He did not say part of the funds were there, or $2,000 came in, or $1,500. He didn't say that. He said the money is on the way. She did bring me, these are through several phone calls. She did bring the checks, and I'm taking it to putting it in the general fund. So I'm thinking all the money is there. He has to be specific with me. And it's really just that simple. Whether it's a phone call or in writing, he should be specific about what monies came in and what monies didn't.
Not here to defend himself. Exactly. He's not here to defend himself. So that right now doesn't really serve a purpose. But what does serve a purpose is you said something. You said Mr. Nichols didn't tell you specifically, and he assumed that you thought. Mr. Nichols cannot assume the thoughts of anyone. Did you ask specific questions? So that goes both ways.
Okay.
That goes both ways.
Mr. Nichols and I had personal face-to-face conversations about this event. I told Mr. Nichols, just like I did on the council floor, there is no money for this event. She must get donors, sponsors, to have this event because there is no money. And it's real simple. If there's no money there, you must get sponsors or donors to have the event.
But you also,
But the sponsors can't be the vendors of the borough.
right, the sponsors should not be the vendors of the borough. In addition, you did advise Mr. Nichols to only pay, what, up to $1,000 for overtime?
No, no.
What that was for Public Works. We would, for the 4-hour period.
So that's overtime.
He wanted to keep it simply for the overtime. That's all that had to do
But
with it.
if we're not donating, this is not our event, we're not donating monies to the event, why was $1,000 authorized for the overtime? That meant we're not doing anything, no overtime, no nothing, that's it, we don't have it.
That is because this event had already been put on the books last year for the 2023 budget. So it was already there for the overtime for the event, but there was no money there for anything else. And the $5,000 had nothing to do with the overtime for the event.
This is why we should not be working in silos. We're supposed to work together, and everyone should have had a voice. Everyone on this council should have had a voice, but instead, it did not take place. This was a unilateral decision, and here we go again, money squandered, wasted.
We even spoke about the legislative meeting that she shouldn't be having the event.
This was
at all.
not it was not a unilateral conversation. This was stated on the council floor. It was stated in a workshop. And if anyone had anything to say, it should have been said at that time.
We did
We
say
did
it.
say
We
it.
said there's no money.
And we all agreed. But I cannot help that Mr. Nichols had me think all the money had been bought in by Councilor Jones
Mr. Nichols is not here to
Waters.
defend himself, so
He and I have already talked about this. Mr. Nichols already has stated that he's going to put money in because he didn't tell me that all the money was there. As the president of council, he has to tell me all money is there or part of the money is there. Because if only $2,000 came in, I would have signed a check for $2,000, and that's it.
Mr. Nichols will not be putting any monies in, period. No, because when other counselors use the borough resources for their personal agendas and personal events, they were not asked to refund the borough.
That's right.
So Mr. Nichols will not be
That's
contributing.
right.
What are you talking about?
She's talking about that family reunion.
That's right.
Well, I see, this is before I don't know anything about that. Now, y'all can keep harping on that all you want. I know nothing about that event. You told me I was not there. I did not see anything. I don't know where a flyer came from. I don't know. She said she didn't do it, so I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. That was on somebody else's reign.
Ms. Johnson, Clara Johnson, continue, please.
Yeah, I just wanted, the two of you talked to each other, but you didn't answer my question. The two of you talked to each other, but my question wasn't answered. How will this be rectified?
Well, Mr.
She
Nichols is
said
not
Mr.
paying it.
Nichols and
He's not paying it.
Ms. She's talking with me.
Well,
Mr. Nichols stated
we're gonna say.
that the money that was short, he was gonna place it.
No, we're not, no.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Into this event.
No, we're not doing that.
As soon as I speak with them.
How you want?
How you gonna make House pay the difference, but don't make the counselor who caused all of this pay the difference? That don't even make sense.
Did I say that, or is that what you were assuming?
If he does that, that jeopardizes his integrity.
And he shouldn't do that. I'll speak with him and get total, accounts hopefully tomorrow when he comes in.
Thank you. Now, the last thing I think that I want to speak about, because I was not here at the last meeting, I was on vacation, but I did watch the video. And one of the residents spoke about something that came out of Jones Waters' mouth that was really, really, really nasty when she said to another resident to suck D-I-C-K. I just want to say that the person who stood at the mic did not tell a lie. That came out of Jones Waters' mouth on the July event. And last thing I'm going to say is I don't accept her apology. I won't accept, not don't, won't.
Mayor Hepkins? Oh, pass this down.
Of course. Here you are, sir.
I actually have a question, statement for the solicitor, I don't know that. Solicitor, I want you to give an opinion with respect to Nafis Nichols being asked to make up the difference for monies with that event. Okay, I want
He
you
was
to.
not there, he suggested.
Have you committed to do it the next meeting?
Yes, yeah, and also to include in that opinion, you know, the possibility of having the counselor who actually was supposed to get donors, making sure that those monies are made up by her as well. Okay, because we're not, yeah, we're just.
Plus a 1,000% penalty.
Because I don't feel Mr. Nichols should be responsible for that.
How you want to
Yeah,
enforce this?
yeah,
No,
you're not
wasn't
going to
asked him
enforce
to do
it.
that, he suggested that on his own.
We shouldn't accept that. Yeah, yeah, it shouldn't even been said.
He was just doing his job. That's the one.
He probably was afraid that his job was in jeopardy.
Right.
Okay. Mayor's report. Just wanted to report to the public that, to the residents that on Saturday, September 23rd, we had a major power outage and gas main break on West Providence Road. If you go from Yaden as you're going into Alden, that street that is perpendicular to Lansdowne Avenue by Grace Court. So a tree fell on the power line there, and it flashed over and kind of ignited a gas main on the ground, and which was ruptured. This was at 9:09 a.m. that it was reported on Saturday, September 23rd. In total, I saw about 21 fire rescue, neighboring fire rescue boroughs responded. It was quite a scene. PICO was called. We evacuated. Decision was made to evacuate Grace Court and the Lansdowne apartments across the street from there. It was about 200 or so people that were evacuated to Evans School and to Cypress. Thankfully, they didn't have to spend the night. It was and there was an explosion also. There was an explosion that damaged one of the houses, exploded, or one of the side of the houses exploded. Thankfully, no one was hurt or was injured, and they rectified it enough where the residents were able to go back into their apartment complexes by that night between 8 and 10 o'clock p.m. I could tell you I was out there basically all day, and was never so proud of all our departments that answered the call. Emergency management on the Rufus Stokes, Public Works under Mike Paluzzo, the police department, Chief Gianmarco was out of town. He actually came back in, but the police department did a great job. The Delaware County Emergency Management also was there. It was quite a scene. But thank God no one was hurt, and everybody did yeoman's job. They were out there 15, 16, 18 hours. They did such a great job. Such a great job. So no one was ultimately disaffected, and we were able to rectify the situation by night's end. Were it in the middle of the day that it happened or at night, the American Red Cross was helpful. They were on the scene. We would have had to house the fine housing for the residents overnight, but we thankfully, with it happening early in the morning, and PICO responding right away, and the gas, and isolated the gas main, or kind of went around it, as also the electrical work, power lines. They're able to navigate around it, and it took another day or two to finally clear up that area. So that was a major incident in the borough. I have Rufus Stokes is unable to be here tonight. I have his report, but his report mainly echoes the same thing. But great job by Public Works, from Emergency Management, our police department, fire rescue, and there was an overwhelming response from around the county. So it was a bad situation, but a proud moment that we really answered the call and prevented a worse catastrophe in the making. And the only other thing I want to report is that you'll see flyers on the table out there. Every year we have a Faith in Blue activity around the country where police departments, public law enforcement asks for prayer, interfaith prayer, and there is a lineup of activities around that event where Friday there's an interfaith prayer at the flagpole at 5 p.m. On Saturday from 10 to 1, it's Community Cleanup Day in the Nile, around the Nile Swim Club. And Sunday there'll be a worship service to pray for first responders at the chapel. Liz.
What part of your worship service at your church is going to be interfaith or incorporate the police? Is that just going to be a regular Christian service of your particular?
Everyone's invited to all the events. It's all interfaith, not just, why sing?
Just invited, but who's going to be up there with you?
Whoever shows up.
Did you invite other church leaders to participate in your worship service and to help conduct it?
There's a general invitation for everybody to come.
To attend, if you're new, or to participate and help conduct the worship service? Is it going to be interfaith conducting the worship? Or is it just going to be you inviting other faiths to listen
We've
to
done
your...
we've done this for years, for decades, and
You haven't, because this is only, the Faith and Blue started in 2020.
We've
and
had-
We've only done it 1 year before.
we've had things like
This is the
that.
second.
Specifically, yes, for this organization, but we've had interfaith prayer in the borough for decades.
Okay, so this is just your worship service at your church for your religion.
All right, we'll cancel it then. We'll cancel it.
I'm sorry, it's okay. So, Mayor, are you saying that the one that is happening on Friday, October 6th is the interfaith?
They're all interfaith.
They're all interfaith.
Everybody's invited. No church, no religion, no orientation is being excluded. I don't see what the big deal is.
Okay, thank you. Solicitor's report.
We don't have one tonight, thank you.
Okay.
Trying to be a blessing and trying to bless people, ask God, the Almighty, to bless everybody, people who love you, people who hate you. There's violence, there's variance in the world. We're asking for blessings, not cursing. Nobody should be offended. Anyone who shows up, any faith, any orientation, we bless them, they're part of it. It's not exclusionary.
Thank you, Mayor. Engineer's report?
Good evening. I have two quick items for tonight. The first one is regarding the crosswalks and ADA ramps that we discussed last meeting. That rebid is currently out on the street. Bids are due next week. Prior to the public meeting, we'll be issuing a, bid tab and a recommendation to council and action at the next meeting. Pending those results. The second thing is the trash collection contract is up at the end of this year. So we're working with Public Works to create a new specification and get that out to bid. The plan is to get everything out on the street in October, accept awards in November, and hopefully award at that time, execute contracts in December, and the first of the year, the trash collection, it would start a new contract. And we're working, and that would be a 3-year contract, and we're working with Public Works to make sure we're incorporating any comments that for the existing contract. That's everything I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Yeah, are you attempting to keep it at the same rate?
We hope. Unfortunately, that's something we can't necessarily control. However, we will notify all, the current trash collection as well as any others. It will be in the newspaper as well as on PennBid through public notice.
Okay.
About the trash contract, for years and years and decades, the entire time I've lived here, 41 years, until the past couple of years, when there's a trash holiday, which mostly is Monday, most of the holidays are on Mondays, usually we would just put out our trash one day late, Monday would get picked up on Tuesday. But for the past couple of years, they've been wanting the day that was skipped to put out the trash on Wednesday instead of recycling. So there'd be no recycling, and Wednesday would be the makeup day, so Monday was told to hold their trash till Wednesday. Not a huge deal except for Thanksgiving, when the Thursday people were expected to put their trash out a day early, and nobody knew it. And I expect that this Thanksgiving will be another fiasco of everybody's trash being out all weekend, the long holiday weekend, and having, the animals carrying into it and carrying it throughout the alleyways. So hopefully the new contract can revert to something closer to what the community's used to with,
I will definitely talk to Mike P. about that. Usually that is a contractor specific based upon their schedule, but it's definitely something we can, preface in the contract as well.
And as well, for some strange reason, on Wednesdays following a holiday, they're not picking up the recyclables.
there's no recycle on holiday weeks. The current contract is on holiday weeks, instead of putting out the recycling, there's no recycling for anybody in the entire borough with a holiday. So nobody gets recycling, and then instead of picking up recycling throughout the community, the trash company picks up the day that was the holiday
that was skipped for the holiday?
Well, I've had people call me and say, half their block recycling was picked up and half wasn't.
Usually it's
And
been
I
thrown
had
out.
calls.
Usually that's because
So
the
it's
trash truck
confusing.
is
It's
coming
really
on the trash roads and putting the recycling in the trash.
Yeah, so we need to get that a clear understanding of what's going on.
Show me.
You know,
Got it.
Excuse me, there are three holidays during the year that fall on, the legal holiday falls on a Monday. And that has in Philadelphia, everywhere in Delaware County, it pushes back to the Tuesday pushes back to Wednesday, and Wednesday is no recycling. Something happened with the way they did the contract in the past 2 years that confused everybody. So I think it just needs to revert back to what is normal for the world.
Yeah,
Got it.
thank you.
Yep.
Who has the discussion with respect to like penalties when?
I had that conversation with Mike just last week because we started the conversation and he was mentioning there is nothing in the current contract to talk about penalties. So that is something we will be probably including the solicitor's office in as well, but making sure that that language is very clear and very strong because the current contract has no language about penalties, I believe. And we are in the middle of it. So I don't. And again, whether it is or is not, I think it's maybe a little unclear if it is. So we are aware of that and we are, including it in the next contract.
And just to be sure, because I had a few instances where people weren't pulling their trash all the way down to the edge of their driveway. They would keep it up near their garage door, and then they would call the borough and say their trash wasn't picked up. Well, they're not supposed to walk up on your property to pick up the trash. So I notice people are still doing it. So I think, it just being fair to the contractor as well, if his guys leave it, they should not be penalized for leaving it because the person did not bring it down to the edge. So it should be some language in there as to exactly where they're supposed to pick the trash up.
Got it. Is it something where once this new contract is in place, there is a flyer for the entire year that says, these are the holidays for the year. This is where your trash has to be. Like, this is the policy for the borough. Maybe more as a flyer, not as, something that's here, but just something that everybody can access as well. Okay.
And I'm going to ask, and he's not here, but going forward, when we do the calendar for 2024, put that back on the calendar and let it be accurate this time, because it's all screwed up.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, absent. Oh, you have something did you say you had something from Rufus, Mr. Stokes?
I included it in my.
Okay. Lieutenant, Public Safety.
Good evening, everybody. All right, for the month of September, we responded to and prepared reports for 759 calls for service. There were 147 traffic citations issued. Actually, that number is not right. It's higher. There were 5 traffic citations issued and 202 traffic citations issued for parking tickets, unpaid parking tickets. So just so everybody knows, those tickets are going out, and we are collecting on them. 2 criminal arrests were made. One was subject was wanted out of Florida, and then another one was for some criminal trespass, criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, and harassment. In regards to Councilor Beatty, you had a question over the summer about the deer program. Yeah. So hunting season just opened 2 weeks ago. Not a lot of people like to get out when it's this warm. I don't. But we do have a group that is and it's their own time that they do this, is going to hunt behind St. Louis. That's the only place we have permission. We can't get in Holy Cross. But speaking to the officers, especially the overnights, they're not seeing as many deer running around. So yeah, they could move. You know, once it gets later into October, they'll get into the rut, and then that's where they may start reappearing because they'll be chasing each other around.
I'm sorry, will letters go out to residents in the area where the hunting is taking place again, just to advise them?
I mean,
Last time, usually it goes out to let people know.
yeah, I mean, it's all archery. It's not.
I know.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, we can look at sending letters out. I didn't know letters went out last time.
Yeah. The people in that area, like right.
Over by St. Louis, yeah. I know we didn't send them out.
Over by St. Louis, around Parkview,
Uh-huh.
where the hunting is taking place.
Sure.
I don't know if it happens over, by Holy Cross on the other side or not.
Yeah, no, we don't do over by Holy Cross,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's really
But yeah,
just.
that side around by Inmore and around by Parkview,
Uh-huh.
that whole area, that Matter Hill section, people were advised.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else?
Thank you.
Sorry.
For recreation, Mr. Hunter's absent, but he did send me something. The vegetable program will end on November the 8th. We are planning to take a trip to urban farms in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and I'm sure he'll have some information on the website if anyone is interested in going. The soccer games are going strong Saturday mornings 10 to 12 at Community Park. Also, Penn State Master Gardeners wants Yaden to be involved in their Beautifying Pennsylvania Coalition. So we will be looking into that, and I'll have administration sign up the paperwork so that we can be involved, along with Chester and Marcus Hook so far have joined in. President's report. I would also like to commend the American Cross, Mr. Stokes with emergency management. Go ahead.
I appreciate that you read it, but there's no hard copy. I don't know who's going to remember all of the things that you just reported. Can you please make a hard copy so that they'll be available for the residents?
Oh, he'll definitely have that for the council meeting. He'll have that for the council meeting. He just wanted me to mention ahead of time. We'll have that. I'd like to commend Mr. Stokes from Emergency Management, Mike Paluzzo, and the fire department, as the mayor was mentioning with the fire. I'm going to ask the fire department to do a session on how to use fire extinguishers. I don't know if a lot of people know how to use them, so I'm going to ask them to come in and just set up and show how to do it, or maybe make a tape where people can go online and see how they work. I hear they have some different ones out now, so maybe that might be helpful. Yes?
The fire company is having their annual open house on Friday, October 13th, from 6:30 to 9 p.m. They will have fire extinguisher demonstrations, kid activities, snacks, and more. I hear it's a good time.
Okay, Mr. Dinkles did not tell me about that. Okay. Open house October the 19th?
13th,
13th.
Friday the 13th.
What time did it say?
6:30 to 9.
Thank you so much. Okay.
You can keep that.
Okay, thanks. Okay, that's Friday for the fire department open house, October 13th. That's 6:30 to 9. That way everyone can find out exactly what they have to do to use a fire extinguisher. Citizens Forum, anything else?
Oh, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know where the target area is for the historic cleanup?
It is, I just saw that somewhere. Where did I just
I
see
know they're
that?
meeting at the Nile Swim Club this Saturday, October 7th, at 9:45 a.m.
Yeah, that's from 10 to 1
Right.
at the Nile Swim Club.
Right.
Community
They're not
Day
cleaning up
cleanup.
the Nile Swim Club. They're cleaning up someplace in the community. I just wondered if anybody had any.
Yeah, it hasn't been stated. Do you know, Mayor, where that will be? Mayor Hopkins?
I'm sorry, Denise Gianmarco at the meeting at the library last week said he assumed it would be community park.
That was an assumption.
Yeah, it was an
And
assumption.
Mike Mazzullo said he was hoping it was going to be
Mayor,
along West
do
South
you know
Street.
by any
Oh, I
chance
heard
where
two
the
different-
cleanup is? Okay. I'll talk with Mr. Nichols and have that put on. If he should be able to get in touch with the Nile Swim Club and find that out without a, yeah, or with Restore, but Mr. Nichols can do that. Anything else? Well, thank you all very much for coming out to the meeting. And may I have a motion to adjourn, please? May I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
Well done. Thank you. Of course, you need this. I gave
I have, oh, yeah, because I have to give this to.